A big part of my mask is my flag. On June 9th, we left Sudan and became South Sudan. We split because of all the wars, but the flag is different where there is not much war in South Sudan. SPLA was a big part of my ancestors' life because they protected Sudan. But then wars kept happening against Dinka and Nuer, so we made for South Sudan. But now in South Sudan, there are Dinka and Nuer living together.
My mask shows both my African and Polynesian cultures. The shape of the mask is a tiki head, which shows the culture of my ancestors. They believed and showed the faces express them. The designs around my mask shows the traditional designs they made. The face shows anger and seriousness because that is how my ancestors would feel and show themselves, as tough and serious. The mouth shows my ancestors' culture from my African side. It shows how they would express animal faces or also scary faces that would make them show the culture. And the ring around his nose shows what they would do to their faces.
This mask is closely related to Mexico Michoacan state, representing a Katrina, and those originate from there. Every November 2nd is the day of those who died. I wanted this mask to represent that and call my attention to that tradition and culture of Mexico. My mask has several symbols, like a cross, which represents my family's religion. It also has flowers that come in many different colors and textures from Mexico. I added a veil because that is what they also wear.
My mask represents symbols from England, Sweden, and Ireland. The English, Swedish, and Irish flags each cover a portion of the face, each with a symbol. There is a crown, which represents monarchy, which was a part of the culture in these countries when my ancestors lived there. The symbols on the face are all common symbols associated with the countries on my mask.
My mask relates to the cultures of my Mexican ancestors in many ways. Three colors are present in my mask: green, white, and red. These are the colors of the Mexican flag. The eagle is also present in my mask, which is part of the Mexican flag. The mask is also based off the Day of the Dead, a celebration in the Mexican culture where people make masks looking dead. Also, contains feathers on top representing the Aztecs and ancestors of Mexican people. That's why my mask represents the Mexican culture.
My ancestors are from Denmark and Czechoslovakia. There were monarchies in both before their revolutions. In Denmark, there used to be Vikings. The symbol on the mask's cheek is a Viking symbol. Fishing is also very popular in Denmark, so I drew a fish necklace on my mask. In Czechoslovakia, it is popular to decorate eggs with intricate designs. The crown on top of my mask's head has designs from the world's largest Czech egg. Both flags from Denmark and Czechoslovakia are represented on the mask's lips and eyebrows.
My mask is about the people on an island called the Sleeping Lady. The flowers on the mask represent the dancers when they wear it. There are two flags on the mask and they show our country's flag. The hand represents the prayers. If it doesn't look like the United States flag, but it looks like other countries' flag. Some people don't use flowers or these days now. How the flowers affect America's culture is they had dancers in their days.
I'm from Mexico, Spain, and I'm Native American. I used the colors of the Mexican flag to color in the markings that would represent my Native American background. I used bull horns and ears to represent the bull run that happens in Spain. It still happens today, and the feather that I put hanging from the left bull horn is a seagull feather, which represents the state bird in Utah. Native Americans today still paint their faces. They use different markings that mean different things, but mine have no specific meaning.
My family is half Asian and half something. I don't know. They went to the island called Micronesia. Some of the people that went with them went to different islands and spoke different languages. Some of the people in my family married some Americans that made them half Micronesian and American. My family married different religions, but we all get along. The 4 stars are the 4 places that connect together.
My mask that I'm going to represent today is about Honduras and my ancestors. My mask drawing reflects my ancestors' culture because the country that my family is from is Honduras. And in the past, there were Mayans. The Mayans lived in Honduras and they had a hard time living because they lived in the forest. The Mayans believed in their god, which was the sun god. There are some stones that were carved like a mask. They would have sharp teeth and different kinds of symbols. They would build a small pyramid out of the rocks.
My mask represents my Scandinavian and Norwegian heritage. The colors I used are the same colors of the Swedish flag. There are runes written on the forehead. I put a unicorn and a Norse dragon to represent the mythological beasts they believed in. This relates to modern culture because all modern culture had to start somewhere. Unicorns and dragons are still used in fantasy and fiction today. There is always some folk culture in pop culture.
My original nationality is Scottish. I chose a few things representing Scotland, such as the national flag, the color green to represent its geography, clovers, and a rainbow to represent the beauty that can be seen after it rains. My mask represents culture today because despite hundreds of years passing, the land is still beautiful after it rains. The geography is also equally as radiant.
The top part of the mask is the Scottish flag, and the bottom of the mask is the American flag. The mask is on fire because my ancestors were involved with Salem witch trials. The mask is at school because my favorite holiday is Halloween, and there is a sword and an arrow because I'm involved with war.
My mask shows the South Korean flag because my Halmani grandmother is from South Korea. The yellow flower is an African flower because my granddaddy is African American. My mother's family is from Wales. They came on the Mayflower, and we are direct descendants of Wilford Woodruff, a Mormon pioneer. My pink or red hair means femininity, and love in my religion Wiccanism. The red in my hair means independence and power and strength. My skin is white because my mother's is white.
I am a mix of Iraqi, Norwegian, and Danish. I drew the Iraqi flag over my nose and mouth because many people in the Middle East cover their nose and mouth. I drew a necklace because jewelry is worn a lot in the Middle East. I also drew a headpiece with the country Iraq. I'm also Egyptian, so I drew some kind of makeup.
I have a few different cultures within me, including Irish, English, Hopi, and Apache. I symbolized my Irish with the four-leaf clovers and the Irish flag and the two rainbows. English is reflected by the English flag on the left eye. Hopi is being symbolized with the headband, dreamcatcher, and a symbol on the left side of the forehead. Apache is shown with the two arrows below the left eye, which mean war, and the symbol on the right side of the forehead.
The Australian flag I chose because I was born in Australia. I put the native Australian flag also because my great-grandpa was born a native Australian. I used face paintings in my mask because in Australian culture, Aboriginals or Native Australians used to use body paint for old ceremony celebrations and other purposes.
My mask is named Warrior. There are many reasons why this mask is named Warrior. My mask is used to show people that it is okay to be different.
My mask is called R. It comes from Kaja. It represents the winning of the war between Janka and Kaja.
My mask is an American flag because I was born here, but my parents are from Mexico and they came to make a better life.
My mask is representing steampunk and sort of where it comes from, England. Most steampunk has gears and clocks, so I tried to put some in there. Steampunk is supposed to give off the look of, well, punk, so I put in some piercings. Girls in England were supposed to look beautiful and delicate with makeup and blush, so I tried to give my mask some tints. Steampunk with girls is sort of delicate but strong and rebellious, so I guess I tried to give the mask some of that with piercings.
This mask is a Hispanic symbol that represents the Day of the Dead. These masks are colorful and they represent that the people that are dead or no longer with us are still here. These days are usually the first 2 days of November. This day is celebrated so the people that no longer are here will still be remembered. The Day of the Dead is also a whole day just to celebrate them, to brighten up their afterlife.
My last name is Primitive. Primitive was a real ancient warrior for the Aztecs. Primitive won many battles. He was a brave warrior and a great king. His legacy will always live on.
So my mask is like based on a fictional character named Bushido Brown, and he's a black ninja, and he fights with Bruce Lee in the movie Enter the Dragon.
My mask name is the State of Mind. The State of Mind distinctly shows the third eye on the forehead, representing how Buddhists talk to the Buddha, or also known as the Enlightened One. They use this mask to get advice from the Buddha for such things as homeless, the poor, and, hunger, etc., etc. Buddhists believe and worship deeply of the Buddha and use this mask to speak to him, kind of like praying to God.
My mask is 1,000 years old. It is designed to bring peace and joy. The eyes are the shape of a sun, which represents joy. The other designs represent peace because it brings peace to others.